I never thought detention would change my life, but then again, life never asks for permission before it wrecks you. Maybe it was the universe laughing, or maybe it was just Monday, but when the rebel boy walked into class, the air shifted like a storm warning. His name was Ethan. He moved like the world owed him something, chin high, leather jacket hanging off his shoulders, his dark eyes scanning the room with an amused indifference. People whispered his name like a curse and a dare. Girls giggled nervously, teachers sighed with resignation, and I kept my head down and pretended I didn't notice him. But God, I noticed. I was Liam, the quiet one, the A student the kid teachers loved and bullies ignored because there was no sport in targeting someone invisible. My life was neat, predictable, lined up like notes in my math notebook. Then Ethan sat 2 seats behind me and turned that order into chaos. From the first day, he tested boundaries. He tossed his homework out the window, smirked at authority, and had a laugh that was both infuriating and magnetic. He shouldn't have been my type. He wasn't safe. But something in me stirred every time his gaze flicked in my direction, like he was silently mocking the walls I had built around myself. Weeks passed, and the tension grew. It was in the way his sneakers tapped against the floor when I read aloud, in the way his voice dripped sarcasm when he answered the teacher's questions, and in the way his eyes those eyes lingered on me when he thought I wasn't looking. One late afternoon, detention sealed our fates. I was there for being late, me first offense, mortifying as hell. He was there, of course, for reasons that didn't even need explaining. The room was quiet except for the buzz of fluorescent lights. I scribbled in my notebook, trying to ignore him, but Ethan didn't do silence. "You always write that much, or is this your love diary?" he asked, leaning back in his chair, smirk tugging at his lips. My face burned. "It's calculus." "Oh," he drawled. "So it is your love diary." I should have ignored him, but when I finally looked up, his grin faltered. For the first time, I saw a crack in his armor, a flicker of loneliness, like he was daring me to see past the act. My heart did a reckless thing. It skipped. That was the beginning. He started waiting for me after class, walking beside me even when I didn't invite him. We'd talk well, he'd tease, and I'd roll my eyes, but somehow, beneath the banter, we found a rhythm. He told me about the fights at home, about how teachers gave up on him before he even opened his mouth. I told him about the pressure to be perfect, to never make mistakes because one crack in my record would feel like failure. Different worlds, same ache. We became each other's secret. There were moments, small, fleeting, that terrified me in how much they meant. The brush of his hand against mine as he passed me a pencil. The way his voice softened when he said my name. One night, under the bleachers after a football game, we sat in silence, our shoulders pressed together. The world was loud around us, but in that corner, everything was still. "I don't scare you?" he asked quietly. "You scare the hell out of me," I admitted. "But maybe that's why I can't stop thinking about you." His breath hitched, and for once he didn't have a clever comeback. Instead, his fingers slipped between mine, tentative but sure. My chest felt like it was on fire. But love stories never go smooth. Rumors started. Whispers in the hallway. People noticed us lingering too long, laughing too much. One afternoon, a shove against my locker reminded me how cruel high school could be. "Careful, Liam," a voice sneered. "Hang around the rebel too long, and you'll end up just like him." I laughed it off, but inside, fear bloomed. My parents wouldn't understand. My friends already asked too many questions. And Ethan carried enough battles on his shoulders without adding my cowardice to the list. So I pulled back. I stopped waiting for him after class, avoided his gaze, buried myself in books. When he cornered me in the library, hurt burning in his eyes, I couldn't meet them. "You're ashamed of me," he said flatly. "No," I whispered, but the word felt hollow. His jaw tightened. "Then what the hell is this?" I had no answer, only silence. And silence was worse than any confession. He walked away and I let him. My chest hollowed out, like I had carved a piece of myself and tossed it aside. Days bled into weeks. The rebel boy became a ghost in my periphery, present but unreachable. I told myself it was safer this way. But at night, I replayed every laugh, every look, every almost kiss we never had. I realized that losing him wasn't safety, it was suffocation. The The breaking point came on a stormy Friday. I found him in the parking lot, drenched, about to ride off on his battered motorcycle. Lightning split the sky. "Ethan," I shouted, breathless. "Don't go." He turned, rain streaming down his face like tears he'd never let me see. "Why should I stay?" "Because you're the only thing that makes me feel alive. Because I'd rather burn with you than freeze without you." The words tore through me, raw and unstoppable. "Because I love you," I said. Silence. The storm roared around us. For a heartbeat, I thought I'd lost him for good. But then he dropped the helmet, walked toward me, and kissed me like the world could end right there and it wouldn't matter. It was desperate, messy, and perfect. We didn't magically fix everything. High school was still cruel, parents still strict, future still uncertain. But in that kiss, I learned something vital. Love doesn't wait for permission. Love just is. And Ethan wasn't the rebel everyone thought he was. He was the boy who taught me that perfection is a cage, that scars can be beautiful, and that sometimes losing your way is the only path to finding your heart. Months later, we sat on the hood of his car, watching the sunset paint the sky. His head rested on my shoulder, his hand warm in mine. "You still scared?" he asked softly. "Terrified," I admitted, smiling. "But it's the good kind." He chuckled, kissing the side of my neck. "Good. Means we're doing it right." And maybe we were. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't care about being safe or perfect. I just cared about him, and that was enough. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.